rise and stand. Voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate. With steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war. For America first, we'll settle the score. Populism's fire ignites the night. And your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The fire burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar. For America first, we'll rise and stand. Voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate. With steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war. For America first, we'll settle the score. Populism's fire ignites the night. And your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The fire burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar. For America first, we'll rise and stand. Voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate. With steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war. For America first, we'll settle the score. Populism's fire ignites the night. And your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The fire burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar. For America first, we'll rise and stand. Voices of the brave echo to the land. Chasing dreams on the edges of fate. With steel in our veins, we will not wait. Killer call, we rally and war. For America first, we'll settle the score. Populism's fire ignites the night. And your face will shine a light. From the ashes of the past we stride. With iron resolve, we will not divide. The fire burns bright, unyielding and strong. Together we'll sing a defiant song. Killer call, we rally and roar. For America
Are you
first,
tired of weak, woke, whisper politics? Then buckle up, America, because Killer Carl is here, turning.
With SRN News, I'm Michael Harrington in Washington. Lindsey Graham, the longtime Republican senator from South Carolina, has passed.
Are you tired of weak, woke, whisper politics? Then buckle up, America, because Killer Carl is here, turning politics all the way up for the America First movement. We're exposing the swamp, crushing the globalists, and fighting for the forgotten men and women who built this country. Killer Carl, the most unapologetic, high-octane political show on radio. It'll make your blood pump and your neighbors wake up.
I guess the exact thing, yes, is if 5 of the USB sticks were missing results from the election, so then they have to go try to re-grab them. Yeah, and they're all the folks behind the scenes are talking about this as well, so we can also look. It's unfortunate.
The folks behind the scenes here, you're saying?
Yes.
Are how do I ask this artfully?
Two things. There's the audit log and the results. What we uncovered was that 5 of the sticks had the audit log downloaded and not the results. It's a human error. These things can happen. So basically what we need to do is go back to the operations center and we're going to download out of those 5 machines the results and make sure that it's not the audit log.
Kramer, also one of the founders of Checkpoint, another big cyber company. Shlomo, it's great to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
How is AI, cyber warfare, shaping geopolitics right now?
So AI is going to revolutionize cyber warfare, from critical infrastructure to the fabric of society and politics and undermining it, giving unfair advantage to authoritarian governments against democratic countries. First Amendment type of...
That's already happening?
That's already happening. You're seeing the polarization in countries that allow for the First Amendment and protect it, which is great. And I know it's difficult to hear, but it's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it. And quickly before it's too late.
What do you mean?
I mean that we need to control the platforms, all the social platforms. We need to stack rank the authenticity of every person that expresses themselves online and take control over what they are saying based on that ranking.
The government.
The government should
control the social media.
Yeah, should do that. And we need to educate people against lies, and government need to develop cyber defense programs that are as sophisticated as the cyber attack. Today it's a 1 to 100 ratio. And really government are not doing this today at any rate, and enterprises are left fending from themselves.
The technology is moving much faster than the political system typically can to respond to
so
it.
You need to use technology in order to stabilize the political system, and you need to put adjustments that are perhaps not.
I mean, we're at a point, though,
necessary.
right? I mean, I can go on Instagram or TikTok, and frankly, it already is becoming unclear what is fake and what is real.
Exactly.
And once you eliminate that ability to discern truth from fiction, then what are you left with?
You are left with polarization of society and inner fighting, and you have to control that. And you see that already happening across the world. So this is an urgent need by the government to do that. And until then, enterprises are buying by themselves more and more cybersecurity solutions, but they can't afford all these solutions by themselves. So they are looking for ways to deliver a more efficient consumption.
Unconstitutional, man. You can fuck and suck me from the back, okay? I fuck the Constitution. I wipe my ass with the Constitution. It's a fucking piece of paper, dude. Shut the fuck up. Motherfuck the Constitution and motherfuck this country, okay? You stupid bitch.
All right, welcome to the Killer Carl podcast. Wow, that was quite a cold open. What I want to focus on is there's a few things. First things first is before the Israeli millionaire talking about the First Amendment and how we need to censor it. That should scare everybody. Actually, everything in that cold open should make the hair stand up on the back of your back, right? You had the piker guy talking about standing there with the communist, talking about the Constitution. That's where we are today, folks. And to be honest, the Republicans are just as bad. I'm not saying should stay home on the midterms. I'm just simply saying we really have to be careful when we're out there voting and choosing these candidates. Why do I say that? Well, because Darlene, Lindsey Graham's sister, they're going to install her. You have no control over that. They let it go to a runoff. Why? Because they want you to think that you have control of the situation. That's what it's all a big psyop. Just like the communist Han, right? The Democrats did what they did to Bernie Sanders, but in a little bit of a different way, right? You saw it in the cold open. Oh, we can't. 5 of the 9 flash drives are missing. Data. We have to go back and load them. What is that telling? They were wiped, reconfigured, so that their chosen minority candidate, someone they could control and manipulate, would be installed. The Democrats wanted to pump the brakes on communism because I believe the American people are starting to wake up to the game. Now, listen, the youth is disenfranchised, so they got that youth vote. Trump had it. He lost it. He lost it. He lost it with this war in Iran. And you just saw the Israeli billionaire talking about regulating, silencing your free speech in America. That wasn't me saying it. It was the Israeli billionaire saying it. That's the problem. We have this manipulation going on both sides. Right? We have AIPAC pumping all types of money into the Republican Party because they've lost the Democrats, because they've went straight on jihadist terrorist freaks. So they latched on to the Republican Party and they began to pay people to put forth propaganda. And that's exactly what it is. By the way, Barack Obama changed the fact that you couldn't use propaganda against American people. He changed it. And I forget what the act was, but he signed it. So now you can use propaganda against the American people, and you're seeing it every single day. As a matter of fact, you've been seeing it forever. It just made it legal. And here we are. You've got AIPAC pumping all types of money into media people and influencers to push this Iran war. Right? You've got the jihadist and the Chinese pumping all types of money into the Democrat Party through Neville Singham to destroy this country. The Republicans know what's going on. They could have passed the SAVE Act. They could have done things in the Senate to ensure a landslide victory in the midterms, but they refuse to. Why? I don't know. Maybe they play for the same team as the Democrats. You know, unfortunately, President Trump is one man, and he's surrounded by a bunch of disgusting swamp creatures. They're not swamp creatures. They're sewer creatures. They would sell their mother's soul for money and power. That's who we're dealing with. Forget about the Iranians. Forget about the Israelis. Think about the people in our country that we're dealing with right now. Our politicians that are there to represent us. You know, they're not representing us. They're representing their own freaking pocket. That's all they care about. And they want to divide us, and they want to create a WWE. You're on one side, you're on the other side situation, where they go on all these media programs and they talk about, oh, yeah, this person's rotten and this person's corrupt, when they're all freaking corrupt. They're all dipping from the same pot. When the cameras go off and they go back to the swamp, they're all hanging together, they're all talking together, and they're all laughing at us that we're falling for this psyop bullshit. That's the reality of it. Oh, look. They think they elected Trump. Oh, look. They think they're going to, they have control over whether Darlene Graham gets elected, when we really don't. Right? The person that controls the process controls the outcome. Always remember that. We have no transparency in our elections. When did you get to see the ballots in Georgia? Did you get to see the ballots in Pennsylvania? No. Judges blocked it. Supreme Court blocked it. Why? Because they all play for the same team. The team against the American people. I don't know what happens. I don't know what happens when you get elected and you get sent to Washington. I don't know if they give you some type of liquid that just erases your brain. I don't know if it's just they come up with things. They sit you in a skiff. The CIA and the FBI sit you in a skiff and they go, hey, so-and-so politician, we're going to do this. And if you don't agree with it, well, we're going to destroy your political career. You could have wealth and live in harmony, or we could destroy you. And unfortunately, many of these people are cowards, shallow, vain people that care about their appearance. They care about how they look. They care about their wealth, their status. And those are the people you see going to D.C. John Fetterman, somehow he slipped through the cracks. I don't know what happened. But they send power-hungry, easy manipulated people to D.C. We see it every day. Little Mike Johnson, against the sending any money to Ukraine, becomes speaker. They put him in a skiff. Boom. We got to send as much money to Ukraine as we can. Here we are. Can't pass the SAVE Act, but they can send money to Ukraine. Let that sink in, folks. Let it sink in, because that's the reality of it. These people care more about their own pocket and foreign interest and the money that's coming back to them than they do about your well-being, your country, because they look at it as, well, I'm going to get what I can get while I can. That's exactly how they look at the process. They look at it as, you know what? I'm protected. I'm in government. If the communists take over, I'll be the opposition that goes on Fox News and talks about how I wish I could do this, I wish I could do that, but I can't because we don't have control. Just like Jim Jordan did. Just like Lindsey Graham did. Who's excited to go out and vote for these Republicans? Answer me that. Anybody in the comments or the live chat, answer me. Are you excited to go out and vote for these Republicans that have delivered absolutely nothing? You're not. But I can tell you the Democrats are excited to go out and vote for anybody that will stop Trump because their hatred blinds them. Their hatred blinds them. Now, how do we energize the base? That's the question I have. Well, I can tell you this continuous, never-ending war that Trump got duped into, just like he did COVID. Sorry, it's nothing against Trump. He's one man fighting a system. He's relying on other people to help him. He's not playing 3D chess. He's not Jesus Christ. He's one man that wants to do what he can that's right for the American people. And the people in D.C. want to stop him from doing that. Marco Rubio, Susie Wild, and there's many other on the list. Ted Cruz. Lindsey Graham's sister, John Thune. He continues to talk about these people are his friends and they're doing great jobs. They're not doing great jobs. They're screwing the American people. And they were sent there to represent the American people, but they don't care. They care about the money from the lobbyists. They care about the money from AIPAC. They don't have your they don't have your interest at heart. They have their own pocket at heart. That's exactly why we need term limits, and we need to get rid of lobbyists in D.C. We will never fix this problem till we actually do it. The problem is those scumbags that we send to represent us will never allow it to happen. You know, and the thing that bothers me the most about all this, because I don't want everyone to see this happen, is I see a civil war on the horizon. I don't see any way out of it. Because the people we have in D.C. are such cowards, turncoats. They're turncoats. They're not even cowards. They're turncoats. They're traitors, just as bad as Joe Biden. Every single one of them. Think about NAFTA. Think about the Republicans that got behind that. The Republicans didn't even try to stop Joe Biden. Matter of fact, some of them got behind the COVID shot. Oh, just get it. You'll be fine. Now we find out, which we all knew, and all this news that's coming out from the Trump administration, it's stuff we already knew. We said it. We were thrown offline for saying it. Where's our reparations? For being right. Where's our reparations? Where's our monetization for having our income stripped from us? Because what we were saying was right about the COVID shot. And you had Trump out there talking about Operation Warp Speed. Matter of fact, somebody had to tell him to shut up about it when he was running in 2024. It's absolutely disgusting to me. It's disgusting. And they don't want real patriots like Royce White or Mike Lindell to win, so they rig the system and they steal it from them. Just like they did from Hahn. Just like the Democrats did from Hahn. They want to install their candidates. Michelle Tafoya is nothing but a puppet Think about this. She's a Christian woman, but she's all about pro-life. Abortion. Think about that. How does that work? Sounds like a fucking Democrat to me. Sounds like Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Jerry Nadler. That's their position. But you know what? She's controllable. She's a figurehead. She just wants to be in there for the power and the money, and she'll do whatever they say. Royce White, he's not going to do that. Mike Lindell, he's not going to do that. Why do you think they tried to shut down Donald Trump in 2016? He doesn't need their money. He doesn't want their money. Why do you think they're trying to kill him left and right? He doesn't want their money. Doesn't need their money. Then you got that scumbag in the cold open, Hassan Piker, talking about our Constitution. And I've got a little clip I want to pull up. I just got to open up my email for a minute. I don't want everybody thinking I'm just ripping on the Republicans. You know what? Because the Democrats are useful idiots too. And everybody should I'm sorry, guys. I should have had this up. I thought I was able to sign in. It's a new laptop, so I didn't sign into everything, but I thought I could. Hold on. One second, folks. We're going to get this clip up, and we're going to continue on with the show. But the reality of it is the Democrats have been duped too. They've been duped too. And device connected. Connect. All right, we got this, I think. All right, we're going to try one more time, and that's it. We're connecting. But yeah, it's absolutely insanity. All right. We're going to try this again. Continue. Because I think that this is so important to see. All right, we got it. All right, me. Right, that's not it, but hold on. I do want to play this one too, but I want to play the other one first. Here we go. So this is going to be Mandani, right? Talking about how he's duping or has duped the dumb white liberals in New York, or he's going to dupe them.
That with the interesting thing about our communities here is I think that minority communities, because we have never had representation, we are tied much more to identity. White communities, they've had representation forever. And so for them, their tie is a little less identity and a little more ideology. And so what I mean by that is we have a lot of voters here who think of themselves first as progressive voters. And so we reach out to them speaking about our platform, our progressive platform. And you're very right that you need someone in the middle to be a validator, someone to tell them to trust us, believe in us. We've had that with Tiffany Caban and
to trust us, believe in us. You need a middleman. That's Mandani, right? So remember, he's speaking to other Muslims. This is how they dupe you. This is how they've duped the Democrats into, I mean, think about it. You have the rise of Muslims. Now, we're going to get to another clip that I want to play, but let's finish this one out.
Cynthia Nixon, that with the interesting thing about our communities here.
So, right there, you know, he's talking about basically how they are duping the Democrats, the white Democrat liberals, right? With guilt and identity politics, right? How they're duping them. But then we have this, which everybody needs to realize that, you know, I know a lot of times I've come out and I'm talking about Israel and the war in Iran. Listen, I'm concerned about the threat we have right here in America. And the threat we have in America is Mandani. The threat we have in America is Texas. What's going on in Texas? I mean, they just start spending a shitload of money in Texas to put foot washing areas into bathrooms for Muslims, for their religious practices. Let that sink in while we watch this, which should disgust every single one of you.
By
the way, that's a Rolls Royce.
Hey, Texas, are you seeing what just rolled up? Meet your Fort Bend County Precinct 3 Constable, Alicia Khani, rolling up to work in his Rolls Royce. He was born in Pakistan, came to America on a student visa, of course, now worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and somehow became a Republican official in Fort Bend. Yeah, you can't blame this on the Democrats, because he's a Republican. And what does he do with his new position of power? He brings Pakistan to Fort Bend. Here he is welcoming Rana Mashood Ahmed Khan, a Pakistani official, at a Fort Bend County police station.
Can I just remind everybody that Pakistan is no friend of America? They hid Osama bin Laden from America for a long time. They're no friend of ours. But here we go in Texas. You see, this is the Muslims' crown jewel. This is their trophy. If they can conquer Texas, which they're doing, folks, they're doing it. They can conquer Texas And the Democrats are all about this because they think that this is going to give them control of Texas because they're useful idiots. They don't listen to what Mandani just said, where basically we're using you as a pawn. And we're going to kick you to the side when we're done with you. But now the Republicans are engaged in this behavior. Why? Because it comes down to money. It comes down to, we're going to help you keep your seat. Just go along with it. You're going to be fine. You're not going to be fine. That's the problem. Texas is their freaking trophy. If they can roll Texas and conquer it, the rest of America is easy.
Shikani just graduated the police academy in 2019, spent a few years working part-time in law enforcement, and now he's a constable giving Pakistani officials insider access to our law enforcement operations. From a country that's a hub for terrorism and Islamic violence. Is anyone looking into this? And when he's not bringing Pakistan here, he's going there. Police motorcades picking him up, treated like Pakistani royalty, even greeted by the same Rana Mashood who came to visit him in Texas. Who is this guy? Did you see him throwing money at people in Pakistan, followed around by a film crew? Is this a Bollywood movie? Is he a constable or a movie star? He's actually a businessman. He owns the Shikani Group, and he's supposedly worth around $600 million. When he's not throwing money at people in Pakistan, he also has an annual job fair in Houston. Is it a job fair or a hijab fair?
I heard about this job fair at Instagram and Facebook.
I was actually actively looking for jobs, and then when I saw this, I was really excited. Looking at the number of people here, when I got in, I thought, oh, it's going to take.
Texas, you're witnessing the invasion of your country. Abbott's not going to do anything about it because he's a coward. Governor Hot Wheels. Sorry. One thing Jasmine Crockett got right was Governor Hot Wheels. He has no desire to stop this. Why? Because this guy is probably donating to his campaign, and he's donating to Republicans. You see, this is the problem we have here in America. The candidates we put up are worthless piles of shit that just care about their bottom line and obtaining power. That's it. They don't care about America because we would never let this happen. I would never let this happen. I would be sounding the goddamn alarms about this just like I am now. But you know what? The cowards in frickin', where's Ted Cruz? Where are you at, Ted? Why aren't you pointing this shit out? Why? Because this same piece of shit is giving you frickin' money just like AIPAC is. You have no morals. You have no values. You just care about your bottom line and your frickin' power and your pocket. That's all you care about. You should be sounding the alarms on this, but you're silent because you're an incompetent piece of shit.
Like a whole day of it actually went by pretty quick and it seemed like it was pretty organized.
Nothing but a sea of Middle Eastern and South Asian faces. One white person in the clip, holding the door open for everyone. How fitting. He even has Shikani Plaza in Houston, where Papa Mart and other Pakistani stores operate.
सिर्फ एक ही मकसद, क्या हम अपने पाकिस्तानी भाई हो, हमारे इंडियन भाई हो, हमारे बांग्लादेशी भाई हो, अमेरिकन भाई हो, कोई भी हो.
No, that wasn't Pakistan. That was Houston, Texas. And worse, this is a Republican elected official. Wake up, America. The takeover isn't coming with tanks. It's arriving in Rolls Royces, job fairs, plazas, constable badges, and Republican ballots. A Pakistani multimillionaire is now running a police station in Texas, courting Pakistani officials and treating police work like it's his own movie. Is anyone going to look into this? State Department? Anyone?
No, they're not, because they're all part of the problem. This is my point, folks. Nobody's coming to save us. They're not. They're not, because somehow over time in America, we have lost the ability to worry about our neighbors, to worry about our fellow Americans. The people that died in World War II, the Americans that died in World War II, the Americans that died in this freaking Civil War and the Revolutionary War are turning over in their graves that we have allowed this to happen to our country. We have allowed a Trojan horse invasion and have done nothing about it. Our politicians are silent because they're lining their pockets with these traitor money. Yeah, I'm pissed. I'm really mad. Because this is going to be our kids, our grandkids' future that we are freaking flushing down the toilet because we refuse to take action. Think about this for a minute. How many people took the damn COVID shot? I didn't. I refused. You can shove that COVID shot straight up your ass and shoot it out your mouth. I said that from the beginning. I have principle. But you had your politicians out there, you had your athletes out there shooting themselves up with it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Why? Because they care about money and power more than anything else. I could give a shit about any of that. I care about my country, I care about my family, and I care about my damn grandkids. And that might be to my own detriment. I don't care. We continue to elect people that are shallow, vain pieces of shit. They're actors. The Republicans are no different than the frickin' Democrats. Who's holding John Thune accountable? Nobody. Why didn't Elon Musk go out there and run a freaking slaughter campaign against the Senate for going for going on vacation while they could be passing the SAVE Act, ending the filibuster? They refuse to. They hide behind tradition and all this other bullshit while they know that in the end, when the Democrats take power in the midterms, they're gonna get rid of the freaking filibuster day one. It's done. And they're gonna pack the freaking court and they're going to frickin' make Puerto Rico a state, D.C. a state, and they're going to make D.C. a state. You want to know why? Because they don't want President Trump to be able to take over home rule. They don't want him to be able to continue to keep that city clean. The people actually might wake up in D.C. and realize they don't have to live in a frickin' shithole. They're beginning to, but the Democrats don't want that. The Republicans don't want that, to be frank with you. The Republicans in the Senate and the Congress, they don't want power. They don't want to have power. All they want to do is go on Sean Hannity, a fellow person that gets Botox and manicures and has never worked a day in his life, and sit there and talk about, oh, you're a great American. No, you're a great American. Oh, really? Oh, you're so great. You don't do anything for the American people. You make excuses why you can't do things. How does that make you a great American? In my eyes, that makes you a big pile of shit. Jim Jordan, Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz. Sorry, it's the truth. You see, and that's the problem. That's why no politician will ever come on my show, because I'm not going to sit here and feed you softball questions. I want fucking answers. I don't want excuses. Nancy Pelosi never had excuses. Chuck Schumer doesn't have excuses. When he was minority leader, when she was minority leader, she just did shit and got it the frick done. The fact that John Thune told President Trump he should get on the phone and whip votes for the SAVE Act is a fucking smack in the face of not Trump, but you, me, and everybody that voted for Trump. It was a big double-barrel middle finger to the America First movement from John Thune and fucking Mitch McConnell. That's all it was. That's the truth. Prove me wrong. You can't prove me wrong, because you know it just as well as I do. Unfortunately, the Republicans don't want to win the midterms. And Benjamin Netanyahu and the globalists and the Democrats aligned to fuck over Trump's economy and screw him over once again, just like the Chinese did with the Democrats and Fauci with COVID. You know it just as well as I do. We are in one of the toughest frickin' positions that we've ever been in right now as a country. We are engaged in this Iran war. We are running out of munitions. The SPR is running low. The Straits of Hormuz, yes, they are fucking closed. They're closed. Of course the president's going to come out and say, oh, no, we have plenty of munitions. What's he going to say? Oh, no, we're running out? Of course he's going to say we have plenty. Use your freaking head. Think about how much munitions we sent to fucking Ukraine. Think about how much we've used. We can't keep up. That's why we have these pauses, folks. When President Trump says we're negotiating, we're having a deal, and then Iran comes out and says, no, we're not. The pause is to restockpile. That's what it's for. Use your head. That's the reality of it. We should have ended this at Operation Midnight Hammer and been done, but we didn't. No, just like I said, we wouldn't. And everybody's like, oh, you're a panicking. Oh, panicking alert. Oh, panicking. No, I wasn't a panicking. I'm a fucking realist. I'm a realist that just wants to bring the truth to you. And a lot of you out there can't handle the truth because you've got your head so far up Trump's ass that you didn't learn from 2020. You didn't learn that the Republicans, they don't want Trump. You didn't learn that the Democrats will do anything they can to undermine Trump. And you didn't learn that the Republicans will work with the Democrats to eliminate Trump and to stop his agenda. And you're fucking seeing it right now. That's the problem we have. That's the problem you refuse to face. You can't sit there and say, oh, yeah, Trump got duped. He got duped, Operation Warp Speed and the fucking vaccine. He got duped by Fauci and the scarf queen, Deborah Birx. He could have ended it at any time. He could have said, you know what? Yeah, we're not doing this anymore, Fauci. We're done. But he did. He didn't do it. He refused to do it. Why? Well, he refused to do it because, hey, we got Jacob joining us. Again, he refused to do it because he had advisors telling him, hey, President Trump, if you fire Dr. Fauci, it's going to look really bad. If you fire James Comey, it's going to look really bad. He had advisors telling him. Trump knew it wasn't a good idea to keep the country closed. He knew it wasn't a good idea what Fauci was telling him, but he had somebody else in his ear that continued to tell him, by the way, from the Republican Party, that continued to tell him, no, you know, we need to do this. We need to do this. And I'm going to go back to Kemp from Georgia. What did Kemp say after 2 weeks? We're not doing this anymore. We're not doing it. We're opening up our state. And Trump came out and he attacked Kemp. And that's what caused the division between Kemp and Trump. That's why Trump lost Georgia. You want to know why Kemp allowed and collaborated with the Democrats? Because Trump came out against him so freaking hard that he had a political grudge, and he's like, you know what? Screw it. We're gonna just drive the hammer to him. And he did. Right, because Trump he was isolated from people, Michael Flynn, all types of people. He was isolated from them. Just like he is now. He's isolated from them. Now he's starting to realize he's in a tough spot. There's no way out of this. There's no easy way out of this. Anybody that tells you we can take Karg Island and we can send ground troops into Iran and everything's going to be great, they're freaking lying to you. There's a reason we haven't done it at this point. The reason is because it's not going to be easy. We would have done it. There's a reason that the Straits of Hormuz aren't open right now. Because it's not easy to do. Yeah, we can block ships from going into Iran, but Iran already has the freaking Straits of Hormuz closed, so it makes no difference. There's no ships moving in and out of there. It's reality. I'm sorry, I'm just here to tell you reality. I know a lot of people aren't. They just don't like it. But you know what? We're gonna bring Jacob into this. Go ahead, Jacob. Let's go into Dr. Fauci.
All right.
And the things that we knew, this is what bugs me so much about this, right? The mainstream media is acting like the fact that if you got the COVID shot and you were a pregnant, like no time in history has any doctor recommended getting any vaccine while you were pregnant. Am I not correct?
Maybe, mostly, depends on who you ask.
From what I remember, I had 3 kids. Right? And nobody would ever say, you know, oh, get these 3 shots or get this, COVID shot or any shot. My wife got no shots. They actually, my wife's doctor actually recommended not even taking Tylenol if she was ill. We had a good doctor. We did. Dr. Adibi. He was an Indian, and I know I'm coming down against H-1B visas and stuff, but he was actually a good doctor. Occasionally you get them. But he was a good doctor. No Tylenol, just try to wait it out and you'll be fine. And she was, right? She was. But there's nobody that's recommending putting anything in your body while a woman's pregnant.
You know how strict one, the education is, and two, like manufacturer labeling for any type of supplementation. You don't. There are so many things that you don't even bother recommending when someone is pregnant. You got plenty of doctors that'll say you don't want to take any like antiparasitics. You don't want to do any type of killing, cleansing, detoxing. For a very simple fact that the body could detox, like the mother can detox all of the stuff into the baby. It's an interesting phenomenon where when they take like the placenta of the child, or they'll look at that and they can measure how many toxins and stuff are in there. I mean, you're getting hundreds of known toxic stuff, and oftentimes it can be the firstborn that gets the brunt of it because that just happens to be a pathway. So what I'm getting at is there are data points that you can point to where you'll get your natural doctors, your functional doctors, and practitioners say, we know we don't want to risk giving anything to the mother that could upset the baby. And here, with the stuff that came out with Fauci, what was it? It's his phone logs said that they did.
His phone logs.
The first trimester spontaneous
fever and
miscarriages.
Miscarriages.
And people have to go looking back at the study because I don't know exactly what it was, but I believe I heard somebody quote that in the studies it was an 82% miscarriage rate. And I think that was all the way, I don't remember if that was all the way up to the third trimester, but the data was insane in showing the actual mortality rate of those that were, those that took the shot.
Well, and the reality of it is even if it would, let's just take it down, right? Let's take it down to a 10% mortality rate.
That's still unacceptable.
But it's high, but let's take it down to that, high. Right? We'll take it down to 5. What pregnant woman is going to take an experimental vaccine if there's a 5% chance that she could have a miscarriage or her baby could be born with some type of birth defect or anything? Nobody is. Nobody. They're going to go, I'll take a hard pass on that. But that information was not made clear. You know what? As a matter of fact, Fauci went out there, and I think, what was her name? Rochelle Walensky. I think she was the head of the CDC at the time. Went out there and said, oh, no, it's perfectly safe. Put the vaccine in your body. That's sinister enough.
Yeah.
The most sinister thing, even after that, is that they cleared it for, what was it, 5 and above, and then they cleared it for infants, knowing that this caused mild carditis and all types of things in your body. In the youth's body, that they could have heart attacks and that the myocarditis could stay with them for the rest of their life. It scars your heart tissue.
We knew people that we knew, individuals like teens, early adults that just up and died, and I knew a number of people that just up and died. And I know that those were folks that they bought into the propaganda, vaccinated. So I even I remember having some conversations with these folks, warning them, even going so far as to show them things like, Virus Mania, Torsten Engelbrecht. That was a really good book. Turtles All the Way Down is another one. It's not like, here's the thing that bothers me, Carl, from my profession or my standpoint. It's not like this information wasn't known or wasn't published. It wasn't for a lack of evidence on this. It's the fact that the public was so asleep to this
sheep
that exactly. And this is where I keep sounding like a broken record when I say, what were the people doing, even those that were awake beforehand? Were you working? Did you work with we'll just say some natural health practitioner, whether it's a chiropractor, acupuncture, traditional Chinese medicine, whatever? Did you actually get to understand how these people work? Do you understand how the body works? Because for us, we see this stuff coming a mile away. COVID, you could say people were warning, churches were warning, InfoWars, one of the first places that was warning. Back in 2007, when you start talking about what's this disease X, we knew that even with published material from then, that a COVID event was probably going to happen, even to the point that they thought was probably going to be a weaponized cold. None of this stuff surprised me and many others, and yet we still had such a devastating effect where people, well, you said just like sheep or lemmings, walked right into the trap and came out maimed or dead.
Well, you know what it is? It's that, and again, this is going to go back to last night's show. People are so worried about their status, monetary value, and what other people think about them. They're not willing to take a stand. I refuse. None of my children, my wife, nobody took the shot. My daughter was a nurse. She was a CNA tech, went to nursing school while she was a CNA tech, worked in the ICU, worked in a elderly facility as a head nurse during COVID, by the way. During COVID, wore the mask, did everything they went. Then one day they say, "Hey, Lacey, you've got to get this COVID shot." I said, "Don't do it. Don't do it." And thank God that she has her own freaking brain that she said, "Nah, you know what? I might want to have kids. I'm still young. I'm not doing this. Doesn't sound right to me." Because you know why? When she worked in the ICU, no matter, she used to have to fill out death certificates. Right? Everything was COVID. Doesn't matter what they came in for. Yes, she said everything was COVID. She told me that. Oh, yeah. She was instructed that everything on that death certificate was related to COVID in one way or another.
And you easily saw the statistics that showed that. Where did the flu go? Where did other things go? Because it looked like, I can say this too, is people that look back into polio or, even other diseases, when you have a drastic, they say, okay, we introduced in a medical intervention and all of a sudden this went away. Sometimes that may be accurate. Sometimes it may be a sleight of hand. And what I mean by that is if anybody wants to go look at polio and the emergence of what's called transverse myelitis or Guillain-Barré syndrome, the idea of reclassifying it under another name, you can fudge statistics. And, if you torture the data long enough, you can get it to confess anything.
Sure.
And we all know that's one of the things you always have to know, not just what the data says, what is the context of that data. And just with COVID, you saw the data being so blatantly tortured that it'll say anything that you want it to say.
But she lost her job. She lost a job she loved, right?
She really?
Well, I mean, she loved working with elderly people, helping them, I mean, she eventually got a job. The ironic part, she got a job as a school nurse without the COVID shot, right? Which is ironic, right? And now she works, I don't know, at a dentist office as a head nurse there. It's like emergency dentist type place where they got to give you anesthesia. So she kind of, I mean, she still likes her job. Don't get me wrong, but it's not what she went to school for. And people like that, people like me, people like you, people that refused, and I refused it. I said, I'm not doing this. Absolutely not. No way in hell. I don't care if Operation Warp Speed was Trump's creation. Something doesn't smell right about it. Just doesn't seem right. I'm not doing it. Mm-hmm. Anytime the government wants to mandate something and tells you you have to do it, and I know Trump wasn't doing that. That was a Biden thing. But the point is anytime you see somebody like Biden saying, well, I'm not going to take this if it was made under Trump. And then when he gets elected, do you remember that?
No, I remember the Kamala. I remember that awkward conversation or that interview she had with, I'd just be hesitant to take it. I don't feel comfortable knowing that was Trump. And then right after that, it's like, you got to take it.
You better take this if you want to keep your job or go to see grandma in the hospital dying, or if you want to go to that wedding, or if you want to go out to eat, you better take it. Oh, and by the way, we're going to give you a free cheeseburger and fries if you get the shot. And if you live in New Jersey, we're going to give you some beer free. I mean, if it's that great for me, you don't have to convince me by giving me something to take it.
Exactly. It's like you sold your soul for, I mean, at least Judas got 30 pieces of silver. That'd be worth something today.
Yeah, you sold your soul for a cheeseburger.
Exactly.
A greasy cheeseburger and fries.
Yeah.
Or a freaking beer.
And what I said earlier about there are people in industries that knew this, saw this a mile away, and have answers and solutions. I'd like people to get curious and be encouraged by that. Everybody's waking up in their own way.
What I want to talk about right now is Dan, producer Dan, right? The producer of the John Fredericks radio show, my producer on Saturdays.
Yeah.
He got the COVID shot because he had to, right? He wanted to keep his form of living going on. So he consulted somebody that was close to him that he trusted. And that person, he said, he don't think that person told him to get it because it was malicious. He just was following protocol of what was getting fed to him. Right. Mm-hmm. He suffered horribly from it. And up to the point, it's funny, up to the point where he took over for Tyler. I'll never forget this. It was the first show that he did. And I had a conversation with him because he usually will call me after the show's over. And we'll talk about things and, and he was telling me about, he's suffering these migraines and everything. And I said, listen, man, I said, you should just reach out to Jacob and I think he can help you. And he's like, yeah, maybe I'll do that. And I think it was the following week or 2 weeks later, he texted me and he's like, what's Jacob's number? And I texted it to him, but I had a feeling that he would hesitate. So I texted you his number and I'm like, Jacob, can you reach out to him? And you did. And now, Dan, listen, he still suffers from mild migraines. They're mild. He told me that. He said it on air. Matter of fact, tune in Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you'll hear his testimonial. He still suffers from mild ones, but they're less frequent. They're less intense. And each week that goes by, they get less and less and less. They crippled him before.
Yeah.
He would spend, well, he would just want to curl up in bed and not get out.
Yeah.
But working with you, you've been able to free him of this. And not only Dan, Larry Burnett, Murphy, James, all these people that you've helped. And I that's the thing, right? I know people that you've helped.
Yeah.
Right. So I believe in what you do. And
I say this is pretty easy to believe if there's results that people get. I always tell people, if you see the results of something that's working, maybe either don't discard it or figure out why and how it works. These are tools.
And by the way, can I
God
stop
gave
you
us.
for a minute? One minute. Dan was working prior to you, was working with one of the top people in DC to try to stop this for about a year.
Mm-hmm.
Got minor results at first, but then they came back. And that's the conversation I had with him. I'm like, hey, I know you're working with this person. Give Jacob a call. And getting better results with you than some overpriced DC doctor. I think she's like a holistic type doctor.
Yeah. And that
something
word
like
in
that.
itself gets
Like-
thrown around way
Yeah,
too
like I think she was
liberally.
giving them like ivermectin and vitamin C.
Okay. For some people,
Right?
that's
Am I
okay,
right?
But the body just look. Hey, look. I mean, vitamin C definitely has its place. It definitely has its place. But anybody who's listened to me is always heard. It's a lot more nuanced than that. There's a lot more layers, and we're dealing with way too many assaults on our function mentally, emotionally, energetically, not just physically and spiritually, that there's a lot more tools in the toolbox that we can and need to utilize. So, Carl, like what you said, I hear this all the time with folks, and what I like to tell people, especially that are skeptical about it, bring all your skepticism to it. Maybe, this is wisdom. This is education that's been developed over thousands of years. This is how people used to maintain their health. Even Jesus said, look, if you don't believe the message, at least believe the miracles at least believe it by the evidence of what you see. And, so for him, he was performing. I'm not saying that we're doing miracles, just, that's what, Jesus said is, if you don't believe in the message, at least believe in what you're seeing is happening. And so that's just where we tell people, you could take it or leave it, but, health is your responsibility. And there's plenty more tools out there than the Western medical system. So
that's been formulated by the big pharma to keep you ill. It's been formulated by big pharma to keep you sick. Why? Because there's no money to be made in healthy people. There's no money to be made in cures. There's money to be made in chronic sickness and never-ending medication. Think about that. The doctors make out, the pharmaceutical companies make out. That's the reality of it. It's an economic model of keeping you ill. That's what it is. They don't want you to be able to think clearly because they want you to be a mindless robot that just gets sucked into the freaking matrix. And they want you to be dependent on them to keep you moderately healthy. And that's what it is. You're not at your full potential because you're hooked on these pharmaceuticals that, you got to lower your cholesterol. You got to take this. You got to take that. Oh, you're depressed. You got to take this, which is going to cause that. You're not going to be able to have normal relationships with your loved one because your brain's not working because you're on freaking antidepressants.
So, Carl, just kind of a case in point, you mentioned a bunch of things that people get recommended, medications for.
Yeah.
Does the average person really understand why cholesterol, what role it plays in the body, why it's there, what it's necessary for? This is a sad thing. A lot of people don't. They have outsourced that information or their health in its totality to, we'll say to an outside class, to another person. And I say that's too dangerous just to abdicate to somebody that doesn't love you, that really doesn't know you, that on average spends maybe about 8 to 15 minutes with you and has a lot of red tape that ties their hands from things that they would, even if they, assuming that they're good and they actually want to help you, there's a lot of red tape. One other thing that I want to say is just for people to think, in a concept is, can you poison your way to health? And do you understand? Do people understand the pharmacokinetics of these synthetic, man-made chemicals? Do they understand how it interacts with the body and what good or bad that it can do? And the fact is, you start asking these questions, and people start realizing, I don't know. You're bringing up a lot of things that I just don't even know. And so you start finding out, okay, I'm starting to see why we came to this point that we're at, because this is a system that's been built up over at least 100 years. If you want to talk about Rockefeller medicine, the Flexner report, this stuff that, Dr. Brendan McLaughlin talked about on your Saturday morning show, this is all real. And I think we're probably like the 2 minutes to midnight. And it's probably that's where I tend to think that putting out something as like COVID and the subsequent solution, the problem and solution,
which they
I kind of think that was
they had this shot
lined up and ready,
up way ahead of time,
right? And so I think it acts as a bellwether to tell everybody, where are we at? Are we at 2 minutes to midnight? Are we almost at the end of this? Can we pull this off? And I think that there were quite a few wrenches that got thrown into those gears. I personally tend to think that the warp speed thing ended up being a way to, and I could be wrong, but I can see ways that it kind of derailed what I thought were the original plans. By putting that, forcing it out, you're creating an expectation that can't be met, and you're creating a.
So one of my favorite books, right here. Everybody should get this book, right? In Trump Time, Peter Navarro. Read the book. He talks about how Operation Warp Speed wasn't the end all to be all, right? So the Operation Warp Speed was to create some type of vaccine that was safe and ethical for people to use, that had the comorbidities, the elderly people, diabetes, stuff like that. It wasn't meant to be used by everybody in the population. Peter Navarro said that the original plan was basically herd immunity. And Dr. Fauci, and it's going to be hard for everybody to believe this, put a kibosh on that with the scarf queen, Deborah Birx, right? By the way, if you watch Newsmax, she's still on there. They're bringing her out, right? The Republican Newsmax. They still bring the scarf queen on there, right? You haven't seen her in a couple of days. Gee, I wonder why. But they were still bringing her on. So Peter Navarro talked about how, like, they were just trying to create a vaccine that, grandma could get. So, you could go in and see grandma. She was protected. Because remember, the one thing that people forgot during COVID, brain dead people, is if you have a vaccine and I'm sick, what are you worried about? You're protected. You're vaccinated. Why are you worried about me? Remember? Like, they were worried about me. I had to get the vaccine. Why? Well, because they wanted to freaking kill us. That's why. They want to replace us. Replacement migration is true. 100% 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 true. 100 COVID is the beginning of that. Why would they allow illegal immigrants into the country unvaccinated, but you couldn't drive in New York City, you couldn't go into a grocery store, you couldn't go to your doctors, you couldn't freaking do anything unless you were vaccinated. But they allowed this country to be flooded with unvaccinated people from third world countries, and they knew nothing about their health. Why? Because it's called replacement migration. They want to kill you and replace you with people that are sympathetic to communism or accepting of communism, accepting of government totalitarianity that will put the boot of the government on their throat. As long as they're getting a little bit of this and a little bit of that, they're happy with it. Sorry.
No, you make a good point, and you get so many people that are in denial about this, whether it's a normalcy bias or it is a
it's a lack of common sense. I believe that people in America, they are trying to erase our common sense, and one of that is the transgender and the man can have a baby. All these things. It's all about telling you your common sense isn't common sense.
I mean, it's ultimate gaslighting. I'm trying to think of who, because there's multiple people that wrote it. And I think some of this stuff even came up from the work like Chad O. Jackson and some of the other people did on just Martin Luther King and reminding this generation of who he really was and all of the communist influences that he had. A lot of these things that you're mentioning here, that information popped up as I'm still surprised that stuff was so blatantly published, almost like writing it. It's almost like writing it out saying, this is what you do to destroy a society. Even just reading
what they do.
Even
they
like,
give you their plans.
Exactly.
It's almost like they want to rub your nose in it. That's what it is. They want to.
That's the saving grace of
humor. It's a sado. What would it be called?
You say like sadistic or sadomasochism is
sadomasochism, where they want to rub your nose in exactly what they're going to do. Hey, read this, bitch, because this is what's coming to you, your grandkids, your future lineage, and as Americans, and I say this all the time because it's so true. How many times, Jacob, have you heard this from people? And they're like, oh, I'm not going to vote. It doesn't matter. The politicians don't make a difference in my life. I'm happy. I've got my iPhone. I've got my TV. I got a new car. I've got my house. I don't
know, man, because everybody that I know says we've got
little Timmy's downstairs playing his Xbox. He's probably beating off to anime porn. Who knows? I'm not worried about it because I got to go get Botox so I can continue to have my job and look young. You know it. You're laughing because it's true.
I was going to say, at least the anime, the women look more like women.
Yeah, they do.
It's like, that might actually be protecting him from the...
maybe. From the trannies?
Yeah. Talk about internal conflicts. Do I fight the patriarchy or do I...
And again, eliminating the American population, think about it. You convince people that they're a different gender. You have them castrate themselves, remove their ovaries, cut off their boobs, and you convince these woke, dumb, liberal white women through social media that they'll get clicks and likes and become famous if they take their 4-year-old kid and get their balls cut off.
Yeah, too, Carl, this is not the first time that this has happened. This seems to be almost like a predictable playbook that's happened throughout history. Yeah. People have to remember, we're being sold this as progressive. This is regressive. Yeah. Because we see, even just in antiquity, look at the pagan nations that surrounded, I'll just say, just look at your pagan nations. All of those, you saw that. You're talking about the what was it? To Diana, Inanna, your goddess of sex and war. You saw this crazy stuff where people were castrating themselves and then having orgies in the temple, and even this, because we're talking about the pharmaceutical. People have to understand that the root word of pharmacy is pharmakia. Pharmakia is the scriptural definition for sorcery and witchcraft. It's the use of roots, cutting roots, in order to or we'll say making chemical compounds in order to commune with the gods and spirits, whether it's necromancy, witchcraft. And so this was the way that people communed with the dead, with the other gods, was through, what would you say?
Think of it as
pharmacy.
as Eve taking a bite out of the apple, right? And Adam, right? They're trying to be God in many ways. The pharmaceutical companies and a lot of these doctors, they get a God complex.
It's so sad. I hate to see that, Carl, but I
the
hear too many stories of that. Yeah.
The difference is you're using nature to heal people.
And it's the body that's healing. All that we're doing is just supplying the information, almost like being a coach.
Yes. You're providing the information that God has put on this earth to heal yourself, make yourself more healthy, make yourself better. Doctors, pharmacy, they are using man-made. By the way, the things they are using are things that they're modifying from nature. A lot of times they'll take homeopathic things and then they'll try to make them synthetically more potent, not realizing that there's consequences because you're not God. You can't create. Man can't create things to heal man. God already created that.
And it gets even crazier, Carl, because you can have unintended consequences. People don't have, well, in the work that I do, when I learned it, I had such a greater appreciation.
The road to hell is paved on good intentions.
Sure it is. I look at this like that Sorcerer's Apprentice. You think you have a mastery of something, you think you know what you're doing, but it turns out you don't know anything. You didn't account for X, Y, and Z. There's too many variables. What I was going to get at is I think the body is very smart in meaning that it knows what you put inside of it. It can read it. There's a deep intelligence that your body has, or that you have. Well, and if anybody just wants to look up in what's called chirality, and that has to deal with the shape and spin of certain, molecules or elements and how they spin, you'll see something that's like L versus, I can't remember now if it's L or if it's R, if it's D. But the idea is that things that are natural leave signatures that the body is able to understand and use that goes way beyond chemistry. Yeah. We understand fields. We understand that if you put a cell phone right up here, that it can be harmful, that there are links to cancer, that these Wi-Fi signals are not good for us. Yet we don't appreciate or understand that the body also
Jacob,
works.
I invested in 6G. Don't say that.
Okay,
I'm just kidding.
Just don't put it around humans. Don't put it around humans.
We'll put it on Mars.
Like I said, we said before. We love technology, but we understand that this stuff isn't natural, and it's starting to harm us. So, are we going to be able to get rid of our addictions and get back to nature and master this, or? I could just say so many of the problems that we see, and I'll shut up after this, but I will say I spend the majority of my time, and I think people get their health results from modifying behaviors between what you eat, your sleep hygiene, the exercise you do, how you manage your stress. And then when we say supplementation, like, detoxing, getting all your nutrient levels and stuff, those are all things that are pulling a person's control. And we start finding this is where people get really screwed up because they have bad habits that master them and run their lives, and they're on autopilot, and they are a slave to their own addictions, habits, and they're destructive.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have a routine, a ritual, right? That I do every morning. And if my ritual gets messed up, my day is ruined, right? That's all in my head. We'll lay it out like, okay, so let's say in the morning you spill coffee on yourself. A lot of people will be like, oh, my day's ruined, right? And then the rest of the day, bad things happen. Why? Because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
That you do yourself, right? So, I mean, I'm human. I have habits. I call them rituals, even though they're not. But it's like I have certain things when I wake up in the morning. It has to be that way. And if it's not, I'm unhappy. It's just because I like things a certain way, right? Now, for instance, well, my whole week is disrupted, right? We talked about this last night. I'm taking care of my neighbor's dog, right? So now, I'm after this, I got to go let the dog out, and then in the morning, instead of waking up and drinking my coffee and sitting on my couch and doom scrolling, right? For doom scrolling for content and stuff like that. Now I gotta go run over to the neighbor's house. I gotta let the dog out. Hope he didn't shit and piss and clean it up. I gotta feed him. He's got like 10 cats. I gotta feed them. It's a whole fiasco, but it ruins my day. But I do it because I love my neighbor. He's a good guy, right? But
that's completely fine. You just got to do what's in your highest values.
But it just it disrupts my lifestyle, my routine, which is actually probably good, right? It's good because my routine was disrupted when I was on vacation, and it was a healthy, good thing. I feel so much better. I'm ready to take on the world. I'm ready to. I'm ready for next week. I'm ready for this radio show launch. But I think I'm going to have you on for the first hour, Jacob, of the radio show launch. And I think we're going to take calls. So Monday, tune in. And you can tune in through social media. And we're going to get hopefully some new callers because we're in new markets that I've never been. Well, I'm in Philly on Saturdays, but I've never been in Philly during the week. So we're going to be in Philly. We're going to be in Baltimore and California. And we're going to hopefully pick up a lot more, which is exciting. But
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. This is a complete dream come true. I am beside myself that I've been blessed to be able to. It's not, it's about being able to get a message out to people. Is the most exciting thing to me to just be able to give people access to you, Iron Bean Coffee, Methylene Blue, and Patriot Pouch, USA.com. These are sponsors, advertisers. You've all been with me from the beginning. And to be able to take you on to something bigger and grow is just amazing to me. I can't even put words behind it, and that's bizarre because I'm never at a loss for words, obviously. But to have people there that I trust and I love everybody that that follows me on social media, everybody that tunes into the radio show. But I especially love the people that believe in me and that I believe in them, because you wouldn't be a part of this if I didn't believe in you. It's a family. I don't even look at it as a sponsorship or an advertiser. I look at it as a family that we're there for each other and we believe in each other. And to go on this journey with people that I actually like, because to be honest, there's a lot of people out there. And again, we'll go back to AIPAC and politicians that take money from people that they don't like. I don't want to take money from people that I don't like. I want to have people that support me, that I like, and that I could just sit down and talk to. And that's the type of business model that I want to run. People that I like, and people that I want to talk to. And that's why I love John Frederick so much. That's why, his network is amazing, it's just people that you can engage with. You can pick up the phone, talk to them, and have a normal conversation. It's not always just about business. There's a personal relationship there. And to me, that matters, in my opinion. It matters.
Carl, to my generation, that's gone.
That's sad. And again, it goes back to the art of conversation that we're missing in life. And I try to pass that on to my kids, and I embarrass my kids. I probably embarrass my wife, because when I go out to dinner, I talk to people and we engage. But that's what you should be doing, right? Yeah. It's called the art of conversation. And I've made a lot of friends doing that.
I have too. Too, when you have a business, you kind of can't help but talk about it, because it's who you are, it's what you are, and it's not just for making a living. I mean, look, I don't come on here to try to pawn or sell stuff, to people. It is what I do, but it's who we are, and we're pouring out what we have because we want to pour into other people's lives, because we want to see them.
I can tell
experience and thrive.
I can tell everybody, anything I make from this, well, I told you this, but anything I make from this gets passed on to somebody else. I don't really make anything from this.
When you get that Iran money,
Israel money. I'm waiting for AIPAC to, hey, Carl. Yeah, you know what the funny thing is?
Let's get the Wakanda money.
My wife said to me, she's like, I love you, but I hate this about you, that you would just probably tell him, go fuck yourself. You're not taking it because you're just so principled on stuff. But that's just me. I don't value.
You could get it in writing and then publish it.
I don't value. I don't value money like that. Trust me. I've already said this. I've gotten White House talking points, and I'm not using them. I refuse to use them. And a large reason, and I've lost obviously my larger Rumble audience that I'm slowly building back. And prior to this, during COVID, I was a crypto trader. I don't know if a lot of people know about this, but I had a pretty big channel on YouTube, and made a lot of money in crypto. And when COVID hit, I started talking about that. And I've always been engaged in politics. I'm a graduate of the EIB Institute for Learning, right? So anybody that's ever listened to Rush Limbaugh will know what that means. I've listened to Rush Limbaugh since I was a 15-year-old kid. And I listened to him up to the day, his last day on the air, right? So I consider myself very well versed in politics, conservatism, all those things. But I know a lot about crypto. I know a lot about just trading stocks and stuff like that. I've learned a lot about that, and I'm self-educated, by the way. It's but I lost that channel, right? And I had a lot of people, a lot of followers. I had a lot of people on X, lost that. And for a while, I just went dormant, right? And I think the first time I talked to you, well, when I was actually trying to sell you on advertising
Anyway.
on the Fredericks Network.
Yeah, it was advertising on that. I was like,
Yeah,
do
you're
you
like, oh,
realize-
no. You're
it's
like,
you
no,
do realize that this
social
is what we've been
media is
talking
a
about.
yeah, social media is a what do you call it? A ghetto.
Oh yeah, it's the internet ghetto.
Internet ghetto.
It's definitely the internet ghetto.
Yeah. So you
Mhm,
know,
the drive-by tweets.
Yes. So I've lost a lot of these things many times and have rebuilt them. And you know, it's my wife always says you're just so stubborn and determined. I'm determined, right? Because I don't care. I want the truth out there, and you're just not going to silence me. And I'm always going to. I don't care if it's Donald Trump. I don't care if it's Joe Biden. I don't care who it is. If I don't think something's right, I'm the one that's going to tell you. And there's no amount of money you can throw at me to change my opinion, because I refuse to do that. I got to be who I am. And I've got to speak the way I want to speak. I don't even really care about money. I think most people that know me, I don't really care. I don't care about the monetary aspect of it. As long as the people that are involved with me are making out in the end, that's all I care about. I don't care at the end if I really make anything. I'd just rather have the truth out there. That, to me, that's the most important. And that's why I think we get along so well, Jacob, because you don't really care about, I mean, obviously you have to make a living and pay your bills, but
Oh yeah. We don't get rich
You know,
off of doing stuff
no.
like this. It's hard enough because people look at you sideways when you talk about this, and even if you show them like, hey, this is this is what worked for me and whatnot, they're just like, oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah,
it's it's fine. Look,
well, and the
people
thing is like anytime you mention my daughter Lacey, she went to nursing school, right? So she was traditional medicine, even though she didn't want the COVID shot. If I'm like, hey Lacey, you should try this. No, I don't think so. I don't believe it works. Blah 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 blah.
we find ourselves,
and she's smart as Lacey. Yeah. I mean, all my kids are intelligent, but Lacey is super intelligent, right? Very intelligent. Like one of those kids where always came home, never had to tell her to do her homework. Always kind of like me, like she could study for college and nursing school at the kitchen table while everybody's talking and we're all conversating and still get, amazing grades, straight A's. I've always been like that. I've always been able to, what I call it is cramming, right? So I would wake up in the morning early if I had a test. And I would wake up early that morning and just study, go to school, boom, ace it, like nothing. Right? So I was one of those people that had to sit there and study for days and days and days. It's just first thing in the morning, wake up, boom, do it. And I found that out by accident, by the way, because I was going to get my ass kicked if I failed a test by my mother. So I was like, holy shit, I've been fucking off all day. I'll just go to bed and wake up real early and study. And I did. And I was like, oh, this shit works. So that's the way I've always done it. I've always done things. I find I perform much better under pressure or stress. There's a certain amount of healthy stress, by the way, people.
Yep.
A certain amount of healthy stress that actually brings you to your optimal performance and helps you actually think and function better. Not extreme stress, moderate stress.
Yep, we call that eustress.
Yes.
Eustress.
I use that a lot.
But no, I'm the
Seems
same
to work
way.
for me very well.
You think different. You clear out. It's like you put blinders on, and you're able to cut out all of the noise, and you say, "I've got to get a result done." You can get some good writing, get good planning done. Yeah. So, Carl, I was just going to ask you real quickly because I didn't get to tune in earlier. As I was going to say, I saw it was an interesting news day. I thought we had some good news that surprise, like votes at the surprise votes at the very last minute for that. Was it for that gubernatorial primary?
You're talking about Hong?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. The title of the show, it's kind of funny to me. And it's almost like these people, both sides, Democrat, Republican, they think we're just stupid. Right? That, I had these 5 flash drives out of 9. They had no data on them. When we brought them in, we're going to take them back. And we don't know if the data is, the audit of the vote that's lost or the tally of the vote. And then all of a sudden, the Democrats' choice, right? The I forget his name. The minority guy just happens to win. Why? Because he's more palatable. Let's be honest.
Wait, are we talking about the Saeed or the?
No, we're talking about the Hong.
Okay. Sorry.
Hong. So the Democrats realized we need to pump the brakes on this communist thing because people are starting to realize this is not good, right? And I played the clip, I believe, before you came on of Mandani talking about how, we just need to tell the liberals what they want to hear and get them on board. And then after that, they're basically saying these liberal white women, these liberals are useful idiots. We're going to use them while we can. And then after the fact, once we get elected, we'll begin to take over.
Let me read this quickly for you.
Go ahead.
Just to add to your point.
Yeah.
George Orwell, he wrote some cool stuff. It was the women, above all the young ones, who were the most bigoted adherents of the party, the swallowers of slogans and the amateur spies and hosers out of the unorthodoxy.
Well, I have
not my words.
No, I have 1984 in my. I don't know where it went. The cat probably knocked it off somewhere, but I have 1984 George Orwell's book in here. I keep it in here. I've read it when I was in school, and every once in a while I'll go back and read it again.
I mean, it's like women can't catch a break. They're always the target of all of the
maybe God meant it.
Destroying nation.
I'm just saying, like, who did the devil tempt?
Right.
I'm just saying. Aren't you missing a rib in me? Because
oddly enough, that rib's supposed to grow back. I believe. I think it's one of the spare ribs that can actually grow back.
I don't know. Maybe it did. I haven't checked in a while, but
what I want to know is, did Adam have a belly button?
Maybe. I have no idea. Adam wasn't transgender. I can tell you that. But the Democrats will rewrite, like Talafrico, right, from Texas, running against Paxton. He'll tell you that Adam was transgender. And
Madam Adam
was transgender. And what did he say? Jesus was non-binary.
He wasn't the guy who happened to have lightning strike right behind him after that. That's funny. This compilation of all those apostate pastors and preachers that say stuff like that, and then there's just instant retribution.
Instant death. Almost like Baby Billy. Remember that? They came to his house and they found the money.
Look, every time you mention anything about that,
I
all I
love
think of
Baby
now,
Billy. Listen,
no. All I think
every
of
time-
is who's the guy who smacks the woman on the behind and said, "Did you just break wind?" Excuse me,
Baby
you scared
Billy.
me.
Baby Billy reminds me of, if you've ever seen the Save the Jew commercials, where the guy's in Ukraine and he's talking about the Jews in Ukraine, and he's like, he's got the deep voice, and he's like, these people have suffered unthinkable pain.
You know what? I haven't seen that one. I
Oh,
keep seeing
I'm gonna-
commercials of the
Yeah.
of Jew hate, of anti-Semitism from like a kid's like locker room.
Yeah.
That's the only ones that I
Yeah,
get.
This is like Feed the Jews or something like that.
Feed the Jews.
It's a Feed the Jew. And listen, folks, I have nothing against the Jewish people. I don't like the government of Israel. I'm not going to lie. I think they're snakes. But it's just hilarious to me because this guy just reminds me of Baby Billy. He's got the deep preacher voice, with a little bit of Southern accent. And he's talking about how, just $5 a day could feed these Jews. And you see the Jews like in line, they're carrying the boxes away. And I just picture like Baby Billy going after the commercial's over, going like, hey, bring them back. We need them for the next shoot. Like these elderly Jews.
Like we need exactly. We need the crisis actors.
Yeah, we need those for the next shoot. You can't take that with you.
And Carl, that was the next thing I was going to mention is you're so right. We think like this because there's a strong precedent that's been set. We see the crisis actors. We see the grift on everything. The SPLC lady that got the hammer down on her today for paying the KKK to manufacture white supremacy. Imagine that. Imagine this, folks. I want you to. We're gonna end the show because I'm gonna end up cleaning up dog shit at my neighbor's house. But isn't it funny how the DNC is out of money? Just about a year after Elon Musk went in there and cleaned out USA aid. Isn't that funny how that worked? They always had plenty of money, more money than the Republicans. But now all of a sudden they are broke. They have no money. Actually, they're asking vendors not to send any bills. Imagine if you could just do that. Hey, mortgage company, don't send me any bills. Hey, car payment, don't send me any bills. I don't have any money right now, but I will in the future. That should wake everybody up. Communism.
Yes, that should wake everybody up to the scam that's been being played. Your tax money is funding your demise. By the way, just remember this. Your tax money, you work every day. The government picks every penny they can out of your pocket to weaponize it against you, your family, and your grandkids. Think about that. You are paying for your own demise, just like when you eat fast food. You're paying for your own slow death. You are. That's why I don't eat fast food. I absolutely haven't eaten fast food in probably like 20 years. I refuse to. Right? And maybe the restaurant that you go to is not better, but it just seems better to me. But yeah, your tax dollars are paying for your own demise. When you go to a fast food restaurant, you're paying for your own slow death. And when you go to the doctor and you pay your health insurance, you're paying for your own slow death then too. I figured we'd leave on a positive note. But if you go and you work with Jacob, he can give you the tools that you need to reverse that. Now, he can't reverse the tax situation. Maybe he can. I don't know. Can't reverse the tax situation. So you'll have to reverse that on your own. But your health, you need your health and your clarity of mind to be able to battle what we're up against, because we're in a full-on spiritual, physical war against the deep state, the Democrats, and the Republicans, folks. I hate to tell you that. We're in a freaking war against all of them. And nobody's coming to save you. The only one that's coming to save you is yourself. You need to take control of your own life. You need to take control of your health. You need to take control of your finances, where you spend your money, who you spend it with. Right? And the first thing you could do is go to BeyondDetox.com/Killer Carl and book a 20-minute consultation with Jacob. He's also got an amazing site with amazing products on there. If you use the promo code Carl5, you can save 5%. Now, Jacob's going to have an additional promo that he can talk about after I'm done here, and then we're going to end the show. But Iron Bean Coffee. Look, you want the absolute best coffee on the planet, hands down, freshly roasted, shipped to you the day you roast it and shipped the day you order it. Go to ironbeancoffee.com, ironbeancoffee.com. You want to support a company that's in the fight against the Muslims? Go to patriotpouchusa.com, right? Company from Texas, Alex Duncan. He's in the fight. Right? He's in the fight. Use promo code Killer Carl 10. You're going to save 10% off your order, and you're going to get a great product that's going to be healthier than the chewing tobacco or the cigarettes. You want to have mental clarity, and you want to add it with the hydroxygen, which I recommend. You're going to go to MerakiMedicinal.com, MerakiMedicinal.com. And you can get their methylene blue. They have a cold pressed black seed oil. It's disgusting. I'm not going to lie. That's where the honesty gets me. It tastes horrible, but medicine tastes gross. Let's be honest, right? It does. It's just, it's not, it doesn't taste good, but it's good for you. You can use it topically, orally. It prevents inflammation and all types of things. So you can go there. They have the Meraki Moon Cream, which is beef talon and the methylene blue mixed together, so you don't turn blue when you put it on your skin. My wife loves this stuff. Try it. It's an America First company, right? And that's what I try to bring you: affordable things that make a difference in your life, make you healthier, make you better. And it's a win-win. It's a win-win. We all win, right? My sponsors continue to sponsor my show. You get great products, and you support an America First company, right? So it's like a trifecta of winning. Now, Jacob, the promotion you talked about last night.
Yeah, it's very simple. BeyondDetox.com/Killer Carl. There's a couple of things we have there. One is Carl 5. That's a permanent discount that you can use over and over again.
By the way, I don't want to cut you off. My wife loves it's the B complex and the multivitamin. They're both liquid form.
There's a few that we carry on there. A lot. The formulas that we carry are things that we use in office. All of our practitioners
She
use
loves
them in
both of
office.
them.
Yeah. So there's plenty of good ones out there. There's also plenty of other ones that, you can get mixed results. We carry things that are very high potent. A lot of things too that are only accessible to us as practitioners, not to the public, but through our site, we're able to make those available. So.
Right.
Right. So, yeah, these are things that we use in office, that we use with ourselves, that we use with all of our clients. It's not your typical stuff. So for anybody that wants to get that, because we want to be able to get this into your hands, we want you to not only hear about what we do, but also be able to experience these things and see how it, can improve your function. So we have Carl 5, which is a reusable discount. You also will save extra
Which
money.
I refuse to let my wife use.
Okay. Well, we appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm like, God, don't use the discount code. Buy it.
But
Buy
we
it.
want to make sure. Look, I understand how expensive it can be. I've been there before. Maybe someday I'll come on and talk about my own testimony, because I got into this for a reason, and I've tried all these things, the things that that we practice, or we preach, or also what we practice. So yeah, as Carl said, we got free 20 minutes. That's a 20-minute discovery call. It's up at the top. You can book that, and that'll help you understand more about my practice, Regen Holistic Health, how we do things, if you're a good fit for us, how we can help you. And then also too, for those that they know that they already want to go down this route, I've got special promotional pricing. It's only available to the Killer Caller audience. If you just go to beyonddetox.com/Killer Carl, you'll see the link to book through there. And that's to work with me directly, one-on-one. We got programs that we do with folks. We got access to a whole suite of different tools out there beyond supplements. So all it is to get you educated.
Give you the tools to become healthier.
Right. It's education. It's tools. It's not just telling you, hey, there's some, what's wrong with you. It's a completely different model than what people are used to with the Western medical system. As a natural health practitioner, it's just a completely different arena. We think differently, we act differently, and we help you, because as I always say, your health is your responsibility. People get the help, they earn their health, and a lot of it is completely within your control.
And Skillet, he can help you with your hemorrhoids. I'm just saying. Probably Paris.
Where is Skillet? I haven't seen Skillet.
We got to get him back on here. I miss Skillet. It's probably it's probably the hemorrhoids are caused by parasites. Probably Skillet, I would guess. But what do I know? But
who knows? Not to be misconstrued with medical advice. None of this is medical advice.
This is not medical advice. It's just we're just two guys talking. But you can get some holistic guidance if you go to beyonddetox.com/Killer Carl. Book an appointment with Jacob. Book the 20-minute appointment. I mean, he's giving you one hell of a deal if you decide to work with him. You're not going to find that anywhere else. And so if you've been on the fence and you're sitting there and you're thinking, this is expensive, I've been to doctors, blah, blah, blah. Stop making excuses. Take control of your health, right? Don't let money get in the way of your health. Because, if you're sick, you're going to end up losing money because you're not going to be able to work. You're not going to be able to create income. So get healthy. Get healthy like Dan. Get healthy like James. Get healthy like Murphy. Get healthy like Larry and everybody else that has worked with Jacob. You're going to take your health into your own hands. Jacob's just there to give you advice and guide you. But in the end, it's your own choice. He's not forcing anything down your throat, not mandating any shots. He's just there to say, hey, this is what I've seen work. This is what has worked for me. This is what has worked for people in the past. And at that point, you have your own choices, whether you want to move towards healing yourself or not. But again, never let money get in the way of your health or your happiness.
Yep, exactly. It will test your mettle.
Yep.
And that's the thing that you don't normally see from our current system is, oh, boo-hoo, everything's happened to you. You can't do anything about it. It's outside of you. And here, it's, we're like coaching, like training, like boot camp, whatever thing you want to say is, we help you. We help you. We address all of that and make you your best self. It's a refining fire.
Absolutely. Amazing show tonight. Really a lot of fun. And we'll be back here tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget about Saturday morning, 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have Leah Hoops. We have Charlie Alexander. We'll be talking Pennsylvania. I know it's a syndicated show, but we're talking Pennsylvania, right? Because a lot of corruption is going on here. But then after that, the launch of the Killer Karl 6 to 8 show featuring Jacob at the 6 o'clock hour. He could hang the whole time if he wants to, but featuring at the 6 o'clock hour, if that works for you, Jacob.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah,
that works.
6 or 7, whatever time you want to come on. We'll be launching that Monday night. So buckle up, folks. We got a lot of great shit coming to you. Don't worry, Jacob. I'll watch my mouth on Monday. I don't have to right now.
Well, I'll make sure to dress up. I'll dress up.
My wife always says to me, how do you know to control your mouth? I'm like, I don't know. Something just clicks in my brain. It just clicks in my brain. Like, I know I don't want a fine from the FCC. So I learned to control it. But here I don't have to. So why not?
Get it out of your system.
Get it out of my system. All right, guys. I will see you tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Listen, if this is your first time stopping by the Killer Karl podcast radio show, hit the like button, hit the follow button, and follow me on TikTok. What am I on TikTok? Because I just started this account, Jacob. I am, Killer Karl radio show. You can follow me on TikTok. And you can be part of the TikTok sensation, right? And help me build that. Right now, I can't go live on it. I can just do shorts. So I'm breaking all these up, throwing them on there. And, not too bad so far. So with that being said, we will catch you tomorrow night. Thank you so much, Jacob. Go to beyonddetox.com, beyonddetox.com/Killer Karl. Go to ironbeancoffee.com, ironbeancoffee.com, patriotpouchusa.com, patriotpouchusa.com, and promo code Killer Karl 10, save 10% off of your bundle, and go to MerakiMedicinal.com. It's all scrolling at the bottom of the screen. If for some reason you want to look at, you can just pause the screen and you can type the URL in, or you can hit me up at my website, or you can hit me up through my email, Karl@killerkarlradio.com. Either way, I can get you the information you need if you need to get in touch with Jacob or any of the other advertisers of my shows. I'll be more than happy to pass their information on to you. With that being said, good night. God bless. I will see you tomorrow night. I'm going to go clean up some dog shit. My neighbors.
Happy
I hope
cleaning.
not. I hope not.